Hello everybody, my name is Kevin, and I'm here to talk about the Dolphins versus the Titans. I didn't see the Bengals game last week, as I said in my previous video, because I didn't have the NFL Network, and I wasn't going out anywhere because I was sick. So, so my immediate reaction to the Dolphins-Titans game right now is disgust. I don't know how else to say it. It was cringeworthy. That was a very cringeworthy game. I don't know. It felt like there was more hope with the winless or almost winless Dolphins. I have no way of explaining my emotions right now. I wasn't angry. Like that's I think that was more surprising of anything else from watching the past games, was when there was hope. I mean, in this game, it was just like you watched it and I mean, you couldn't even boo. I'm sure if you were there as a fan and the emotions were riding high, I'm sure you had Titans fans around you and stuff like that. But just sitting here in my home watching the game, I didn't have anybody to like twist the needle. I have a friend who's a Titans fan. He wasn't even texting me bragging, and it's someone who brags a lot. And I think he even felt bad. I mean, you had defensive linemen on the Titans who had not had a sack all season, who both had 2 sacks. You had a left tackle and a left guard who were both pushed away by one defensive lineman while being double teamed. I think it might have been Hogan, the right end for the Tennessee Titans, and multiple times. I think Tannehill got sacked 7 or 8 times. I think they said in the last, between the Bengals and the Titans game, he's been sacked 11 times. He's reached career sack number 200. Tannehill did. I know I defended Tannehill last time, or before. I don't think I defended him too much in the Bengals or in the previous video, but I would like to see a quarterback who can audible. I think I'm officially off of the Tannehill bandwagon. Yeah, he would be good if we had a perfect offensive line, if an offensive line would block for him, like the Broncos' offensive line blocked for Peyton Manning, or the Colts' offensive line blocked for Peyton Manning, or even Tom Brady for the Patriots, who had a spectacular return back this year, or this week. I didn't really normally I give it a few days so I can get my thoughts together before I give a coherent recording, but I really don't want to think about this game that much. Didn't see a lot out of Landry, except for his one major penalty that cost us a touchdown, which ended up being a field goal in the end. And then our defense got beat inside and out. The offense, the Titans, looked remarkable when they looked horrible all season. They looked atrocious. And what I've been saying all year is Tannehill's not the main problem this year. I mean, sure, it'd be great to have a quarterback who could throw 5 touchdowns a game, but do you really want to have to throw 5 touchdowns a game to win? 5 touchdowns by a quarterback should be a blowout. It shouldn't be a close game. I'm sorry, it really shouldn't. And we should have a better defense that can hold an offense as terrible as the Titans. They're not that good. Their running game, don't get me wrong, DeMarco Murray's been great this season. Derrick Henry, honestly, I haven't followed him too much, so I don't know how well he's done this season, but I know he lit us up in preseason, and he did decent with the few carries that he got. And DeMarco Murray, of course, ran well. I think he had over 100 yards rushing, which, not gonna lie, I have DeMarco Murray on my fantasy football team, so I think I am off the Tannehill bandwagon. We can't wait around for a good offensive line. Though at this point, as bad as, I mean, it was definitely a killer learning that Tunsil hurt his ankle before the game started. He was ruled out for the game. That sucks. So we had a backup left tackle. Tom Tucker, I think it is. And it's just J.I.G. I mean, yeah, I was off that bandwagon at the beginning of the season. He actually looked well. I was pleased with that, though it was the Titans defense, who is 1-3 on the season. So, I mean, at least he performed the way he should have against a bad team. And as bad as our offensive line was for Tannehill, he actually found some running room. Damian Williams, that was a great run or screenplay where he got us in position for that touchdown. He ended up getting injured with had an elbow injury. Jakeem Grant, awesome punt return for a touchdown. I think it was 74 yards. Finally got to see that man return a touchdown or return a kick for a touchdown. Other than that, the few bright spots. I mean, we had a punt return for a touchdown. We had a offensive touchdown. And we should have had two offensive touchdowns if it wasn't for Landry's holding call. I think at some point, if I was the coach, I would have went up to Tannehill and be like, listen, I'm putting more in to shut these fans up so they can see how bad he is. And then when they see how bad he is, we're going to go back to you. Realistically, I guess you can't say that because you can't really expect to build morale when you say, hey, backup quarterback, you suck. I want to show you that you suck. Or I want to show the fans that you suck. So get out there and play. And at that point, like I also said before, that when a team game plans, they don't game plan to play the backup quarterback. So it may have went well if Matt Moore went in there because the Titans have been game planning for Tannehill, not Matt Moore. So they would have had to learn on the fly, and maybe we would have had an advantage. So at the same time, it would have built a false sense of security for the Dolphins fans because I guarantee you Matt Moore, God, that offensive line though, I still don't think Matt Moore would have done much with that offensive line playing the way they were. But I almost feel like I would almost want Matt Moore to come in because I've seen this before. I mean, that's just it. I've seen this before. We've had a quarterback that was bad and people were chanting Matt Moore. Matt Moore came in. He sucked. I'm sorry, he sucked as a starter. And so he went back to our backup. He is a career backup. And so now we have Tannehill and we have the same fans. I don't know. I honestly don't know if it's the same fans that are chanting bring Matt Moore in. I mean, the announcers, okay, who are supposed to be unbiased, were saying, listen, I know people expect more from Tannehill's large contract, but you can't expect him to do well when no one is blocking. He is getting his, and he bleeped himself out. He said he's getting his blank handed to him every game. That's what the announcer said, the person on the television. And I agree with him. I mean, you have 200 career sacks. Some of them he was standing in the pocket too long. There was the one where he dropped back for a pass deep in his own territory, deep in Miami's territory. And he stepped back up in the pocket, and I was happy. I was like, all right, he stepped back into the pocket. But he ran right into the defensive end, who, I mean, I can't really fault the offensive line on that one. He actually had time. He stepped up into the pocket. And the offensive line is honestly, I mean, they're supposed to block in like a U shape. And that gives that quarterback the pocket present. That's what the whole pocket is called. The quarterback's supposed to have that room to run. So if the whole term stepping into the pocket, the linemen are supposed to keep him on the outside. So that's why, like Cameron Wake almost got to Mariota a few times, but they kept him running around the pocket. The pocket. So when Tannehill stepped back into the pocket, both defensive ends were in the pocket. So when you're on a pass, yes, Tannehill held on to the ball too long that play. The announcers, like the camera didn't really show the receivers in that play too well, but the announcers even said that there was nowhere to throw. He did hold on to the ball too long, but he did step into the pocket, and he kind of ran right into the guy. There was a play, the sack early on, where we finally converted. Like, all right, the first drive we had, we converted a first down, or we converted a third down into a first down. And then we got another short pass to the tight end, I can't think of his name, who we just signed. And my screen just went off. It never went off while I'm recording. So yeah, threw it to that tight end who we just signed. I can't remember his name. And then he hiked the ball. Jawan James sat there again. I can see why they pulled him. He needs to be gone. I'm sorry. That guy sucks. I will say it right out. Jawan James, if I'm even saying that right, sucks. He really does. I seen it the last game I saw. It was at the Bengals. I'm trying to think, I think that was a replay of the Bengals game. It was a replay of the Bengals game. Not the entire game, but the play. Sports Center, I think, may have called it out, where Jawan James sat there. He backed up. Bengals guy runs right by him, untouched, and he literally stood straight up and just stared backwards at Tannehill as Tannehill sacked. And it happened again this game. I'm sorry. Did he do something? Did Tannehill do something to offend the guy? The guy sucks. There's no way you could have made it through college sports to be considered as a draft pick when you're this terrible. The offensive line's atrocious. Tannehill can't spot a blitz to save his life, which honestly you don't need a blitz when the defensive line is just trashing your. I don't know if they got a sack with a linebacker. I think most of their sacks, if not all of them, came from the defensive line. And Miami's defense, not one sack on Mariota, and he almost threw the ball 30 times. Cameron Wake, the few times he got in, he applied some pressure, but Mariota ran into the pocket where there was nobody in his pocket, and normally when he got blitzed and Wake came in on him like that, he ran to the outside because Wake was no longer there. Wake was behind him because he got pushed to the outside of the pocket. So he ran to the outside multiple times. Mariota looked like his rookie season, where everyone was just so happy with him and his talent. We made Mariota look talented this season, and he's been terrible his first 4 games. Next week, we play against the Steelers. I guarantee you that there will be more Steelers fans in the crowd than Dolphins fans. Guarantee it. I think when last time we played the Steelers, there was more fans for the Steelers waving their terrible towels than there were Dolphins fans. And my friend and I were debating going to the game, buying tickets, and going to it. Because, even if the Dolphins had a legitimate shot, it'd be nice seeing the Steelers too. The Steelers are a big team, big time name, So if I would rather go to a Steelers-Dolphins game than a Browns-Dolphins game, even though you'd almost want to go to the game even though you're not guaranteed to win. This one, if you were a decent team, it should be a guaranteed win because the Titans are not good. If it wasn't for the Browns' backup kicker, okay, I don't know if people realize that. They keep on saying that the Browns kicker lost them the game. No, it wasn't. The Browns kicker got injured 2 days before the Browns-Dolphins game, so they had to sign a new kicker. So they had a new kicker come in who only had 2 games or 2 days of practice. That's why they lost. They had a backup kicker. So we didn't even lose to their starting kicker. We lost to their backup kicker, and I feel for the Browns, because I don't know if anyone noticed, but the Browns are on their 5th-string quarterback, who is Terrell Pryor, who's no longer a quarterback. He's a receiver. So the only reason I think he got the ball was because he knew, or he had experience as a quarterback. So I don't even think he knows the full playbook. So thankfully that injury to Whitehurst happened with 4 minutes left in the game, and they were able to kill the clock, and Terrell Pryor didn't have to worry too much. But again, we're not talking about the Dolphins or the Browns. So with that being said, not looking forward to next week. I don't know if I'll watch next week. The Dolphins didn't do a whole lot today to make me want to watch. Maybe I will watch in the first quarter, and if it looks as bad as I think it will look, I probably won't watch the full game. It's going to be hard not to watch a game, It's been 10 years since I've had Sundays off, and now that I got them, I can watch the Dolphins. Oh, but man, I was between the 3 beat writers that I follow on Facebook. I was writing, and all of them. I never got in an argument with anybody. Everyone was either agreeing with what I was saying or they had no comment. But I don't know. It was bad every way. It was bad. We lost Howard with an injury before the game. We lost Tunzel before the game. We lost Damian Williams during the game. We lost Jakeem Grant during the game. Correction, Jakeem Grant got injured, but he returned. We lost Maxwell during the game. So Lippett and McCain are now our starting cornerbacks. I feel bad for Rashad Jones because he's a Pro Bowler in the midst of just I can't even describe him. I don't want to like sit here and just badmouth the entire team, but in Wake's defense, Cameron Wake, he doesn't have to play every down, so he only has to be on the field for one play of the drive on like third down or passing situations. So I don't know. There was no positives. There's honestly J.A.G. I never thought I would say that. Jakeem Grant and J.A.G. were our positives. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I don't think I'll be watching any more football today. This is, terrible game. There was no positives really. So hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sundays. And for those of you who watch Monday Night Football, I hope you all enjoyed that. I will see you all next week, and hopefully there's some good news out of this week's practice before next week's uphill battle. That's all I can call it, an uphill battle against the Steelers. My name is Kevin, and I'll see you next time in the bubble.
Miami has a Dolphin, the greatest football team. We track the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, we're the Miami